It's now time for the Rebirth Sports full game recap, and we go all the way back to January 2nd of the year 2024. Can it already be the first game of the calendar year 2024? The Nashville Predators taking on the Chicago Blackhawks at Bridgestone Arena, and head coach Andrew Burnett deployed his lines and defensive combinations in the following way. Forsberg, O'Reilly, Nyquist make up your first line. Sissons, Parson, and Sherwood, Smith, Novak, Evangelista, Trennan, McCarron, Tomasino. Your defensive pairings are as follows. Yossi and Favreau, McDonough and Shen, Luzon and Carrier. UC Saros gets the start on home ice in net. We are 144 into the game. It's Luke Evangelista hitting the post and ringing in the new year at 1:58 of the first period. It's Soderblom coming with a save on Cole Smith. It's the first shot on goal of the game for either team. At 2:07 of the first, Soderblom comes with a save on Luke Evangelista. At 3:58, Soderblom another save, this time on O'Reilly. At 4:30 of the first period, UC Saros dials in and checks in for the first time. Comes with the save on Gutman. Close range right here. Good scoring opportunity for the Blackhawks. His first save of the game, a good one. 4:43 of the first period, it's Sensi off the box. 2 minutes for holding, and it's going to be Nyquist cashing in on the power play for the Nashville Predators. His 9th goal of the season. He goes far side with the wrist shot from the dot, cashing in. Nyquist has been an absolute hot streak as of late. His 9th goal gives the Predators a 1-0 lead over Chicago here in the first period. 7:15 in the first, Soderblom comes with a save on Yakov. Trennan, 10:42 of the first period. UC Saros comes with a save on Sene at 11:33 of the first period. Soderblom comes with a save on Luke Shen. 12:42, Saros back on the clock, coming up with a save on Reichel. And at 14:16, Soderblom back to work again. A save on Gus Nyquist at 15:27. Another save on Alex Carey down the other end of the ice. Now UC Saros clocking back in at 16:48 of the first period. Light period for Saros. A save on Gutman again here in the first. 17:48 here of the first period. It's Soderblom coming up with a save on Michael McCarron at the 18:32 mark of the first period. Soderblom another save on Philip Tomasino at the 19:37 mark of the first period. We see the Predators taking their first penalty of the game. It's Jeremy Luzon off the box, 2 minutes for interference. This hit took place in the neutral zone. Just the mistiming of a play. It was never played by the Blackhawks player there in the neutral zone. And on the power play, it would be Bedard having his shot blocked by Luke Shen with UC Saros in a vulnerable position. Not necessarily down and out, but definitely not in the position he would like to be in. We hit the end of the first period. The Nashville Predators pile up shots in the first, out shooting Chicago 16-5. They also take a 1-0 lead into the second period. But the Blackhawks will start the second period in the clean sheet with 1:38 of power play time, and we go to that power play now where the Nashville Predators are absolutely not perfect, but they are good enough on the PK. They don't give up a single shot on goal, but they do give up plenty of zone time at 2:22 of the second period. UC Saros comes up with a save on Beauvillier at 2:45 of the second period. It's Soderblom coming with his first save of the second period, and that's on Luke Evangelista at the 3:12 mark of the second period. UC Saros coming up with a save on Donato, and then things really kind of slow down almost to a crawl at this point in the period. At 7:52, Soderblom comes up with a save on Alex Carey at 9:11 now. Already at 9:11 in the second period. UC Saros comes with a save on former Nashville Predator Blackwell, 9:59, right at the midpoint of the game. Soderblom comes with a save on Philip Tomasino at the 10:54 mark of the second period now. Into the second half of the game, UC Saros comes with a save on Gray plus the follow-up, and Chicago is starting to tilt the ice in their favor the last couple of shifts. The Nashville Predators have kind of come out flat here in the second and are struggling, honestly, to generate any type of offense and are just kind of letting Chicago have their way. We finally get a couple of TV timeouts after a long stretch without a whistle, and we hit the 13:22 mark of the second period, and that's when Soderblom comes up with a save on Cole Smith at the 14:31 mark of the second period. Soderblom comes up with a save on the captain, Roman Yossi. 16:21, UC Saros back to work with a save on Dickinson at the 17:10 mark of the second period. It's Foligno off the box. 2 minutes for unsportsmanlike conduct, and that comes along with 5 minutes for fighting. He and Luzon get into a fight. It was Luzon took his man into the end wall hard. There was a little bit of an off-balance situation, a little bit of a lost edge going into that as well. Still an incredibly hard hit, and it was Foligno going immediately after Luzon. The two of them got into a fairly decent scrap scrap. A short scrap had to be ended pretty quickly, though, when the jersey got pulled over the head of Luzon. Wow, the times sure have changed, because that would have gone on for a while and probably been quite a beating. But Foligno gets the extra 2 for unsportsmanlike in this conduct, plus the 5, Luzon for 5. And on the power play for the Nashville Predators, it would be Soderblom coming over the save on Colton Sisson's tip at close range, then another save on Philip Forsberg, and then a third save on Parsonen, again at close range. The Nashville Predators were just peppering the net during this power play opportunity. At the 1940 mark of the second period, we find Soderblom making one more save, this time on the captain Roman Josi, and just as the period is expiring, the whistle blew just as the horn was going. It is deemed to be Juuso Parsonen picking up a penalty, 2 minutes for high sticking. This comes at the 20-minute mark even, so they send the players off for the intermission. The Preds lead 1-0 in this game on home ice, but after a large portion of the second period where the Preds frankly weren't in this period, they do get back into it late, but they end up putting the Blackhawks on the power play. Shots on goal at the end of 2 periods. The Nashville Predators have 25 on net, so 9 in the second period. The Blackhawks have 13, so 8 in the second period. We flip over to the backside, and the clean sheet of ice for the third period. Carryover on the power play is 2 full minutes. The Nashville Predators would bend not break in this situation. Chicago misses 2 very good close-range opportunities, missing the net on both of those shots. As a matter of fact, they would not register a single shot on goal, so the Nashville Predators able to keep the Blackhawks from registering a shot on goal again for a full 2 minutes. At the 3:45 mark, back to 5-on-5 hockey, it's UC Stars coming with the save on Zaitsev, plus the follow-up by Reichel at the 4:20 mark of the third period. It's Soderblom coming with the save on Yakov, turning at 5:04 of the third period. To Saros coming up with the save on Kurashev at the 5:24 mark. Soderblom comes with a save on Sisson's teams, trading chances back and forth for a couple of minutes here in the third period. And then we hit another one of those long crawl points periods, very much so without any whistles, any stoppages, any slowdowns, and really any shots on goal to talk about. 9:15 into the third period. Now Saros comes with a save on Blackwell, plus the follow-up by Foligno at 10:18 of the third period. Now just past the halfway point of the third, Soderblom coming with a save on Tommy Novak at the 10:49 mark. We see UC Saros come with a save on Gutman. Gutman, one of the most noticeable Chicago Blackhawks on the ice, generating shots on goal throughout this game. At the 11:43 mark of the third period, we see O'Reilly. He's off to the box. 2 minutes for hooking, putting Chicago on the power play. It would be UC Saros coming up with a save on Reichel. The Nashville Predators power play penalty kill is able to again bend not break. They're able to hold and maintain their lead. At the 14:51 mark of the second period, we see Soderblom coming up with a save on Shen, and this save comes as a penalty is being called. It's Kachuk off the box, 2 minutes for hooking on Philip Forsberg. Philip Forsberg was driving hard to the net and causing some mayhem immediately on the power play. As soon as it gets started, it's Murphy picking up another minor penalty. 2 minutes for hooking again on Philip Forsberg. We see the 5-on-3 now for the Nashville Predators for 1 minute and 41 seconds, and that's where we find O'Reilly cashing in with his 15th goal of the season. And of course, it's Philip Forsberg with the perfect cross-crease pass across to O'Reilly for the open net slam. Easy put in for O'Reilly. So Philip Forsberg draws both of the penalties to put the Preds on the 5-on-3, and then gets the primary assist on the Predators' second goal of the game. Now 2-0 in favor of the Nashville Predators. Preds still have a full 5-on-4 power play. Soderblom would come up with a save on Tommy Novak. Then Soderblom would come up with a save on Roman Josi as the Predators continue putting the pressure on, but they would not be able to score again on that special team situation. 17:26 of the third period. Soderblom coming up with a great save on O'Reilly at the edge of the crease. This would have closed out the game for sure. But in 19:27, with the empty net scenario, it's Luke Evangelista closing out the game with his 6th goal of the season coming from the neutral zone. The empty net goal, his 6th of the season. It's awarded to Luke Evangelista. Nashville Predators lead 3-0. 19:40 of the third. UC Stars because of the save on Blackwell, and one more save on Blackwell before the end of regulation. The Nashville Predators win this game 3-0 over the Chicago Blackhawks, out shooting the Blackhawks 36-21. Aside from a long second period lull to start the period, the Nashville Predators look relatively good, and a 3-0 shutout over a division rival is always going to be acceptable. UC Stars' second second shutout of the season. 21 saves on 21 shots against. And again, the Nashville Predators pick up the victory on home ice to start the calendar year 2024. Nyquist, O'Reilly on the score sheet again. Luke Evangelista with the empty netter. And for the Nashville Predators, they did what they needed to do. The coach challenged him to win a game on home ice, take over. They could have played a full 60, maybe a little bit better. We'll talk about that in the analysis portion of things, though. That was the Rebirth Sports full game recap. You gave us 10 minutes. We gave you the entire game. Now let's give you the analysis and so much more coming up next on the Renegades of Puck podcast.